We are live. I am so excited to have a guest with me today. Jessica Van Antoine is here to talk about how entrepreneurs are leaving so much money on the table, and she's going to break it down. Now, I personally relate to this topic. I've been an entrepreneur 18 years. And when we get into our little Q&A here, I can share my story and how really listening to Jessica is so important, because I can tell you the effects of what's caused my business to leave money on the table from not having someone like Jessica in my life. So welcome to the show, Jessica.
Thanks for having me, Saylin. I'm excited to be
Yes.
here.
So why
Yeah.
don't you tell everyone a little bit about what you do and who you help?
Well, I work with wildly ambitious female entrepreneurs who are just super determined to create the business of their dreams, and they are willing to do anything and everything to overcome every obstacle that's standing in their way. So these are women that, you know this from being an entrepreneur for 19 years. We give 100% to our businesses. We show up every day, and we don't have a traditional work schedule the way that people in the corporate world do. It's hard to turn our brains off in terms of thinking about our businesses and ways to optimize, right? But stress is a real thing that affects the way that the body functions from the inside out. And I won't, go into all the science of that. But this is all to say that, we show up on our best days and our worst days, and a lot of average days in between, right? We push through brain fog, and sometimes we feel like we can't focus, and that causes us to make mistakes, and that costs time and potentially money to go back and fix those mistakes. We sometimes find ourselves so tired that we're relying on endless cups of coffee to make it through the day. And sometimes we have this low-level anxiety, or maybe it's a high-level anxiety that causes us to second guess our decisions. And so I help women overcome all of these obstacles, essentially, by getting at the root cause of those issues instead of just, Band-Aid and surface level solutions.
Yep. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that, resolving those problems then allows you to show up in your business, giving 100%, but then your capacity is 100%. So instead of showing up feeling like a 6 or a 7 out of 10, you're showing up feeling like a 10 out of 10. And that's reflected in the outcomes that you see in your business. You're more magnetic. You have this energy that your clients just want to be around. And that obviously leads to more sales and better outcomes for your clients. And the list goes on.
Yes. So this is probably, a little bit of a controversial topic, because when you go into business, right, it's almost like selling your soul, right? Like you're taught that you have to do whatever it takes to build your business, right? And so, as someone myself, who my parents taught me I could have anything that I wanted, all I had to do was work for it. But when we become entrepreneurs, we like 100x that, right? Like we take it to the crazy extreme. And so, as someone myself who experienced extreme burnout, working 80 plus hours for 3 years straight, let's go over really quickly, what are the signs that someone should be aware of that maybe this is like early stage, something's going on, I should pay attention?
Wow. First of all, I want to say that working 80-hour weeks for 3 years is crazy. I also went through a burnout experience myself. I was working 90-hour weeks, but I think I only lasted like 6 months before I had my big burnout episode. That was publicly, on display. But anyway, to your point, the signs that someone should be looking for are really that your body's not functioning at 100%. And so, in our culture, we've normalized working through fatigue, working through brain fog, just drinking coffee to get by, dealing with anxiety and just being overly scheduled all the time. This is not normal. It is common. So let's make that distinction between common and normal, right? So really any sign that your body is giving you, whether it's headaches or bloating or difficulty sleeping or being tired when you wake up before you've even started your day, these are all signs that your body is giving you that something is out of balance at a deeper level.
Okay, so let's dig into this a little bit more because I love what you said with not normal versus common, right? So, because of social media and hustle culture and society norms and all of these things that we think that we have to trade our health and time and all of that in order to achieve success. But we both know that hard work doesn't guarantee success. If it did, then everyone who worked hard would be a gazillionaire, right?
True.
I mean, at the end of my 3 years of 80-hour weeks, I could have been like a trizillionaire, right? But I obviously wasn't. And so let's talk about, really dig into those signs. So, you have a long week. Like this week, right? I have 3 holiday parties at night. I'm going to be tired on Friday, right? What's the difference between being tired on Friday and having, early signs of something's not right?
Yeah, that's a good distinction to make. I'm glad you brought that up because the stress response in our bodies is meant for survival, is there for a reason. And so our body shifts into the survival mode, but that is meant to be a temporary state. Now, if we think about when human beings lived on the prairie with, saber-toothed tigers as predators, that threat may not last more than 10 or 15 minutes, right? You either outrun the predator or the predator gets tired and decides you're too much work or whatever. So then your body gets to return to a state of what we call rest and digest and heal and repair. But in our modern world, we just have stressors coming at us endlessly, just one stressor after another, from work stress to family stress to social stress and pressure. And so our bodies so rarely get to really drop into that state of rest and digest. So, I would say if you're really experiencing symptoms on an ongoing basis. So sure, 2 weeks before Christmas, 3 holiday parties after your work days. You're going to be tired on Friday. If you're not recovered, if after a weekend of rest and rejuvenation and you start Monday already tired, that's a good sign that there's something deeper out of balance. Your body hasn't really been able to shift back into that state of rest and digest.
So let's dive into what you're talking about with balance, right? So there's so many schools of thought here, right? Some people think like work-life balance is a myth. Some people think it's impossible. What I always say about balance is it doesn't have to be 50-50, right? You go through different seasons in your business where sometimes you're sprinting, sometimes, you're in for the long haul, the marathon, right? Whatever it is. But, is it truly, when you're building a business, right? What strategies can you use in order to build a successful business, but also keep your health as, good as possible? Like, what do you recommend to clients?
Well, I've also been an entrepreneur, for a very long time, 16 years. And like you said, we do all go through seasons, and building any successful business does require optimization, right? You optimize your systems, you optimize, if you have a brick and mortar, you optimize your inventory and scheduling if you have staff, and meetings and time blocking. And you are taught to optimize all of these aspects of your business, and that will certainly contribute to success. But I haven't heard anyone out there kind of teaching entrepreneurs and small business owners to leverage their health as a business strategy. Because if you can't show up at 100% If you're incapable of performing at a really high level because you've worn your body out essentially, then how can you expect your business to perform at a really high level? It's, the output is only as good as the input. And so if the energy that you're bringing to the business, you're bringing kind of brain fog and fatigue, sure, you have passion and you have drive, but it's all sort of dulled by trouble sleeping at night, and this clarity that it feels foggy. So optimizing your health is going to be one of the most powerful business strategies that you can leverage. And if you've optimized everything else, then this is the thing that's remaining, right? If you're showing up on a daily basis, for example, I like to ask my clients, how do you feel on an average day? So Saylin, I'm going to ask you right now, like on an average day, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel?
Nowadays, 9 on average.
That's awesome. Okay, well, you don't need my services.
It's a process.
Right. It is a process. So most of the people that I talk to fall somewhere in the 6 or 7 range if they're lucky. I do talk to a lot of people that also are like, oh, a 5, a 3. Now, if your kid came home from school with a 50% out of 100 on their exam, would that be acceptable to you? Exactly. And so conversely, or even a 60%, even a 70%, I think that entrepreneurs need to understand that we are an elite group of people. Okay. There's only 8% of the population that own their own businesses and are actively involved in the running of those businesses. And we have different demands on our lives and on our bodies and on our schedules than the rest of the population, essentially. And so holding ourselves to that standard, the top 10%. So you should be feeling like a 9. Saylin, you're doing great. You should be feeling like a 9 or a 10 out of 10 every single day. And then you will see those results in your business. But if you're showing up at a 6 or a 7, then that's a 30-40% gap in performance that is potentially costing you money, costing you revenue, costing you opportunities, clarity, that magnetic energy. So
yeah,
as a business strategy.
I love that. And I have like 2 follow-up questions. So I think what's so hard. So yesterday I was on a sales call with a future client, and she was telling me, she wakes up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and she, is just so excited, and she works so hard until 2 o'clock. And then she basically is in bed by, 7. And how do you differentiate, and she's newer in business, how do you differentiate that excitement in business, my brain is churning, and all of these different kinds of things, from that early stage burnout in business where your brain doesn't shut off, you can't sleep, right? You're having maybe panic attacks at 3 a.m. Like, did you send that email kind of deal?
Yeah.
It's such a gray line. Can you give us some insight on how to really determine which side of the line we're on?
I mean, yeah, that's a really tough distinction to make, as you said. I think it's a matter of chronicity. So when things become chronic, when those panic attacks start to become more frequent and not just a phase. I mean, I would argue that any panic attack is like a sign that something's going wrong, and that's not just a normal side effect of excitement. Okay. Certainly there is like a bubbling energy when you're creating something out of nothing. And it is a big lift, and it does require a lot of work. But I think it's important to approach that work from a place of groundedness, centeredness, and clarity. So rather than having your mind spinning with 1,000 different things, it's like, okay, how do I systematize this? How do I get this all, organized so that my brain doesn't have to spin at 1,000 miles an hour and I can focus? The ability to focus, I would say, now that I'm kind of talking through it, I would say it's the ability to focus as opposed to being like a pinball and just being like pinged from one place to the other within your business. You know what I mean? The ability to strategize and prioritize rather than bouncing from thing to thing to thing. That would be a good differentiating factor.
I love that. And I think that that's such a good analogy, right? Because it really gives you the visual of like what's the difference between excitement, yay, versus oh no, this is turning into, I'm waking up at 3 a.m. every single morning
Right.
stressed,
Right.
right?
And said more simply, kind of distilled down to the essence of it. Are you in control? Are you controlling it, or is it controlling you?
Yes, exactly. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is, so back in January of 21, I started coaching after I sold my first business and launched my first course in May of 22. And right as my business was really starting to pick up speed, I had 5 speaking gigs booked and all of that. I got hit with health concerns, right? Where I lost 20 pounds in 2 months. I lost my voice. I was losing my hair. And so I was really at a point in business where it was like, oh my God, I'm just gaining traction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was starting to get that clarity to, oh my gosh, like I thought I was having a heart attack for a minute because like I had so much pain in my chest, kind of deal. My hair's falling out. I've lost weight. I can't talk. Really, what is your opinion in your professional experience in health coaching is really, what do you do at that point where you're at a point in business where you're really ramping up or you're still building and you don't have that solid foundation or that income or whatever it is coming in yet? Like, how do you handle that when your body's screaming at you that something's wrong?
Yeah. I would encourage everyone who's listening to not wait until that point, essentially. Because so often that is the point where we actually start to pay attention to our bodies, is like when it's screaming at us and we have no other choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just encourage you all to interpret, everyone who's listening, to interpret again those little symptoms that you're experiencing, whether it's a pervasive sense of anxiety that is making you second guess your decisions, or that just fatigue that won't go away no matter how much you sleep. Interpret all of these things as signs from your body. These are the whispers of your body asking for deeper support.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And if you don't provide that deeper support, your body will start to scream at you and make you listen. So I really, I started in this field as a burnout coach. But I find that I don't want people to wait until that point. I mean, I certainly can still help people who are feeling burnt out, but I'm really out here advocating for, again, don't wait until that point. Take care of your body now so that you can continue to show up in the rest of your life and for the long haul, rather than, it's not a sprint. Okay. It's a marathon. And so really resourcing your body wants to be in a state of health. It knows how to balance itself, but it can only do so with the resources that you provide it. And so if you continue to operate with pedal to the metal, just full throttle, day after day after day after day after day, you're going to run out of gas. Mm-hmm. You have to know how to stop and refuel and give your body, your vehicle that's driving you through your life, the rest that it needs. And the benefit of that, you'll see not only in how you feel on a daily basis, you'll see the benefit in your relationships. You'll be a better leader. You'll be a better wife, better partner, a better mother. You will have more patience. You will really thrive. I have a 67-year-old client who feels like he's 19 again. Isn't that incredible? I mean, I think people, as we age, we just sort of accept the degradation of our energy and our bodies as like the normal part of aging. But the truth is your body is utilizing these resources. It has been using up its resources for X number of years, however old you are. And if you haven't gone back in and sort of like repaired the damage, you know what I mean? And really fix the systems, then yeah, that is like going to be a predictable side effect, is the slow degradation of your energy and your clarity and your drive and your passion. But if you are proactive in coming in and saying, okay, what does this body actually need? And using data as that foundation, okay, not just like this random supplement that I saw on Instagram, but really like, what is the data telling me where my body needs support? And so using that data-driven approach to optimize your body so that you can avoid more expensive health issues later on down the line.
Yeah.
Right? Or getting to that point where your body is screaming at you and then you have to stop working.
Yeah.
And so then nobody's running your business. You know what I mean? This is what I mean when I say health, leverage your health as a business strategy. It's
Yeah.
the foundation upon which everything else is built.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. I have been in that situation twice, and it is not fun. So as we start to wrap up, let's just review real quickly. So if someone that's listening has gone to maybe their PCP, their general practitioner, and expressed how they're feeling, right? Like they know something's not right, and their doctor kind of ran some blood work and everything looks fine, and whatever, tell us why working with a functional health practitioner like yourself is a benefit when they get that blood works fine, and they know something's not, and where people can find you and all of that.
Yeah. I hear that all the time. Well, my doctor said that, everything, your labs look normal. They said that everything is fine, but I don't feel fine. So first of all, they're being gaslit, right? Secondly, the really distinguishing factor between Western medicine or traditional approach and functional medicine is that Western medicine is looking to diagnose you. It's looking for what's wrong. I want to help people identify where their bodies can be optimized. I'm not looking to diagnose you or put you in a box or say you have this disease. I just want to know how we can help your body perform better, how we can help you feel better. I will spend more time with you. I spend more time with my clients in the period of time that I work with them than their doctor has spent with them in 6 years. And so I really feel like I'm sort of a health concierge, like a health advocate, and I really help people develop lifestyle patterns. Not only do we repair what's going on in the body on that physical level, but implement lifestyle habits that are going to maintain the progress that they've made. And even all of my clients continue to get better, continue to improve even after we work together. So I mean, now is the time too, right? Right before the holidays, everyone's feeling stressed. It's also, the perfect time of year for introspection. It's sort of the end of year, like, okay, what did I accomplish this year? What did I not accomplish this year? What do I want to accomplish next year? And if you want to start 2026 already gaining momentum, now is the time. Don't wait until January 1st, because then you're already behind. And then, I think the statistic for New Year's resolutions in terms of how long they last is like 21 days at best. And in most cases, it's more like 13 to 15 days.
Oh.
So make 2026 the year that you actually do something by taking action now. You know what I mean? And for those people who are intrigued and want to learn more about, their particular situation and how this work might be able to benefit them, I would love to talk to you. The name of my business is Phoenix Functional Health. It's Phoenix, like the mythological bird, not like the city in Houston, though spelled the same, different connotation. And I'm on Instagram at Phoenix Functional Health, same thing on Facebook. And you can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Jessica Van Antoine.
I love that. Well, I myself, have worked with holistic practitioners, functional health, naturopaths, all the things over the past couple of years. And I highly, highly recommend finding someone like Jessica. Please reach out to Jessica and connect with her, because it truly is, and it's such a different experience than going to your PCP. Like it it truly is like having concierge medicine. And I just really think for any woman in business who wants to grow their business, then having your health on point is like a requirement in order to make that happen. Don't do what I do and burn yourself out to a crisp. Go get with Jessica now and just schedule a consult, right? And just get to know more about what it's about and talk about the things that haven't been feeling right in your body, that have maybe been in the back of your head that you've been pushing to the side. And I totally agree. Don't wait till you get some big glaring sign. It's better to address the things sooner rather than later. And, really make 2026 the year that you not only grow your business, but you also take care of your health, because Jessica's absolutely right. When your health is, 9, 10 on point, you do become magnetic. I can personally vouch for that myself. And you just feel so much better, and people see such an alive person who's thriving and they want to be around you. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Connect with Jessica on LinkedIn or Instagram and go check her out online. Is it phoenixhealth.com?
phoenixfunctionalhealth.com.
phoenixfunctionalhealth.com.
Yeah.
And if anyone has any questions, you can pop them in the comments and I'm sure Jessica will answer them. But thank you so much for being here today. I truly appreciate you coming on. I love this topic. It's always a great time. And I appreciate you being here.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great week and happy holidays. And I will see you in the new year.
Happy holidays, everyone.